Jimbo, it is. I gotta tell you something. I thought we had some storms here last night. I thought it would have broken the kind of heat and humidity that we had here, but it has not. It is still dummy hot. It is still ridiculously hot. I gotta say, maybe the only things hotter right now might be the uniforms in DC. Welcome everybody to Stay Tuned Sports. It's your boy King. That's your good friend Jimbo right over there. And we've got some stuff to talk about today. Granted, we are kind of in the dead season. We talked about that before. We're right before training camps kind of starting. Where, baseball's still going on. And plus they're going to the All-Star break soon. And not only that, but the Yankees can't get out of their own goddamn way. And so there's really not much going on there. But we'll find stuff to talk about. And we got a couple things. We can talk about my bald spot. Jesus Christ, that's so disgusting. Oh, God, I'm just going to shave my head again. I don't even care. Anyway, like I said, this is Stay Tuned Sports. I'm King. That's Jimbo. If you'd like to help us out at all, there's 3 free ways you could do that. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit those buttons. It's fantastic. Helps us with the YouTube overlords. Who knows if that's going to help us or not? Like I said, it already seems like they're doing the whole either unsubscribing or not giving people notifications if you're there or not. So just make sure that if you do hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure that's still there and check on in that. But yeah, like us. This helps the video, helps us get into the algorithm, and we all just want to get into a nice rhythm. Everybody likes the rhythm method from what I understand. And if you hit the share button, it gets more people to watch us. That's great. And like I said, if you're first time here, not subscribed yet, please think about giving us a subscribe. It will help us out tremendously. Get us to at least that 500 subscriber mark so that we can go ahead and make some money at this and do something else with this so that I can go, like as I've said many a time, so I can go from being a regular loser to a YouTube loser. And that's all the power in your hands. You can help us with that. If you'd like to help us out in a little bit more direct fashion, a little bit more of the cash money, we have a link for our donation station and our merch store in the top of the chat, which is wide open. Come in, say hi, say hello, say how you doing. And also those links are in the description below this video. If you're watching us not live, but afterwards, we have those links down there for you. New stuff going into the merch store all the time. We got our Buffalo Bills merch in there. We got new Eagles merch, the Tush Push one. We've got mugs. We've got banners. We've got, obviously, T-shirts and hoodies and fucking coffee and all the other stuff there. More of that stuff coming, so you'll see all that coming up later. Jimbo's air conditioner's ready. See, I told you it was hot. It's fucking hot, so Jimbo has to have that air conditioner on. I understand that. I get it. So there's the plugs. All the plugs are out of the way. Let's get that done now. Jimbo, earlier today, this morning, I knew this was coming. I didn't know it was coming today, or maybe I just missed that it was coming today. But I knew that the Washington Commanders were going to be releasing an alternate jersey. And I saw their preview image, and I did some of the sneaky Photoshop stuff. You increase the brightness and the contrast and do all the other kind of stuff. And I saw it, and I said, it kind of looks like the old Redskins uniforms, and I just felt like that was what we were going to get. I said, we're probably going to get Redskins uniforms just with the W on it instead of old John Two Guns White Calf on the side of the helmet. Lo and behold, today, the Redskins unveiled their Super Bowl era uniforms, which I'll get into that in a second, because I think everybody's just trying to play word games here, and I hate it. It's dumb. It's stupid. But it is exactly what we thought it was going to be. It is the Washington Redskins uniform with just the logo swapped out for the stupid W instead of Two Guns White Calf on the side of the helmet. Gotta say, from that standpoint, outside of the logo issue, Oh my God, do they look fucking amazing? Do they look? That's how Washington should look. Whether you like the Redskins or not, whether you think that's the right name they should have, that they were right in banning it, or if you think they should bring it back, or whatever the case is, that's how the football team in Washington should look, should always look, no matter what. Because that is just it. It looks right to me, Jimbo. Your thoughts on the new Washington alternates?
Like when I saw them, like I was like, okay, they're pretty cool. You know, like I wasn't oozing over them or anything
Oh,
like that.
I'm oozing.
Yeah.
I am oozing.
Um, I am like you though. Like let's stop beating around the bush. Like we know what's gonna happen in a couple of years.
Do we though? And this is I was going to bring this up in a little bit, but you brought it up, so we'll bring it up now.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is that first step to? Is this a putting the toe in the water to see the reaction, to see what people say about ostensibly bringing back the Redskins uniform, just without the logo, to see what people's reaction are? And if you've read underneath any of the social media where Washington went ahead and posted this, because they posted it, obviously the NFL posted it, and a lot of the other reporters, Ari Miroff, Ian Rappaport, or your usual NFL people, under all of those, people have been giving their reactions. So you think that this was a toe in the water situation to see what the reaction would be?
I mean, I've been saying for a couple of years that that they'll eventually be the Redskins again. But yes, I kind of think that as far as today goes. And someone pointed this out. They're even using the R from the Redskins days in one of their slogans, rush all or something like that. Like I was just trying to look for it real quick, but when you look at the R, it's the old.
It's the
Redskins.
Joe Gibbs R,
Yeah.
the R that he had on his
Yeah.
hat. Okay.
So I think it is.
So, but I was going to say, even before that, you said even before this, you thought it was going to be coming back in a couple of years. Why do you think that?
Well, all right. So obviously we don't like we try to keep politics out of it and all that
Right,
stuff.
right,
And
right, right.
I'm gonna do my best to do so.
Okay.
It was a fad at the time. You know, like cancel culture or
Right.
whatnot,
I know what you're saying. saying.
And the fad is over now. The cancel culture is pretty much gone.
Right.
I think now is when they'll bring it back.
Okay. 'Cause I had a thought. Because here's the thing. I have a thought. It's very similar to yours, and it is along that case of this country lost its collective mind in 2020.
Yes.
Like if you look at just between everything, if you look at what happened in just the year of 2020, you had COVID, which started and had all that 2 weeks to stop the spread. Then it was masks forever. You can't go out. People were snitching on each other, and people were getting arrested for trying to shop. Like it was a thing. You know. Then we had the cities and places exploded in violence in the summer of 2020, and with all of that happened. Again, we're trying to tiptoe around maybe some of the more political aspects, but that's what happened. You know, that was a wild fucking summer. Then you had, as you got into the fall, Washington decided, they said, you know, because a lot of the sponsors said, well, now we're going to pull our sponsorship from you if you don't change the name. So then they pulled the name quickly and became the Washington football team and did all that. And then the madness that was 2020 ended, obviously. I think I put the end of that stamp probably on January 6th of 2021. That was the last real insanity that was. But for that 12 months, this country collectively lost its fucking mind. It was insane, and I agree with you on that point of just like I don't know if fad is the way I would say it, but
Okay.
The United States lost its mind for a good 12 to 18 months. It did. And I think anybody who's lived through that will agree with that. It was wild fucking time. Just insane.
It's like America was on ecstasy or something like that.
So now that we're 4 years beyond that, looking back, kind of maybe collecting a sense of common sense again, kind of like when you finally hit like 27, 28, 30 years old and you look back when you were 19, 20, 21 and you're like, holy shit, what the fuck was I doing then? Oh my God, I was an insane person. It's like, I don't know who that person was. That kind of feels like what the United States is right now. It's like, we're looking back at 23 and be like, oh, we kind of went overboard with a lot of shit, didn't we? All over the place. And to that aspect too, it was like, and I said, we don't get political on here. We try very hard not to. But it was very much a both sidism. Both sides kind of just, again, like I said, the country in general, left, right, center, everybody lost their fucking minds. It was a wild time in this country. And I think that's the thing, is that looking back on it now, overreacted on a lot of things. There was a lot of shit that was going on. So it does feel like that it's more of a resetting of like, all right, let's relax. Let's take a look. Let's take an inventory of things and let's look at what's going on. Now to back to the uniform, which is I think the thing we're supposed to be doing here. Hamster in the chat, great to see you. He says, bring back the Redskins. That's what we're talking about right now, Hamster. With this uniform reveal, this is going to be their alternate. They're wearing it on 2 Sunday night games and the Christmas game against the Cowboys. So they're going to be wearing it against the Seahawks on Sunday night. They're going to be wearing it against Denver on Sunday night. And please, Seattle and Denver, wear your throwbacks those days, please. Please.
That should be mandatory.
It should be. If you have a team playing in their fantastic throwbacks, you as the other team should play in your fantastic throwbacks. That is unquestioned. The Broncos with that light blue helmet with the orange jerseys against the Redskins wearing that. Yes, please.
Exactly.
Yes. The Seahawks in the royal blue with the silver. Yes. Yes. I want that. Again, I'm a uniform nerd, so I'm going crazy. But like I was saying, when Washington released this today on Twitter, social media, everywhere like that, you look at the comments underneath it. Again, this is a very unscientific poll. This was King looking at comments, so take that as you will. A vast majority of the comments and reactions to this were, okay, now bring the name back. This is a step in the right direction. Now bring the name and logo back. This is nice. Missing the logo. Where's the logo? This is great, but where's the logo? So, again, unscientific poll here from me looking at the reactions to this. Now, again, there were a couple other ones that were like, this is terrible. This is just going to give fuel to the edgelords who are... All right, fine. You knew that was going to happen. And there were some who said, this looks great, still keep the name away, but if they went to this as their full-time look, it wouldn't be bad. Yeah. So there was that. I'm not discounting that at all. I want those people to be heard as well. So there is still that. I'm just saying, while I did see those, the vast majority was hail to the Redskins, HTTR, bring back the skins. This is great, but where's the skin? We need the skins back, all that kind of stuff. So I feel kind of the same as you do, that this was a toe in the water moment. Yeah. This was because Josh Harris has said he's like, oh, right now we have no plans to bring back the name. We've done some talking and research, and right now it doesn't seem like this is the time. I don't think we're going to be bringing it back. I'm telling you, I don't think the name's coming back and all that kind of stuff. But when you do something like this, and the reaction is as positive as it has been for the uniforms and the look, is also getting the reaction of, yeah, come on, take that last leap. You know you want to do it. Like that's kind of the feeling. Is it is it out of the question, as some people have said, that it's not going to come back? Because here's the other thing too. And to those people who say, well, Josh Harris said it's never coming back, so it's not coming back. It's a settled case. Dan Snyder said that he was never going to change the Redskins' name. He said that emphatically for 25 years. He was never going to change the name. Then he changed the name. Like I said, everybody lost their collective mind in 2020. Dan Snyder was already crazy, but he lost it a little bit more too. You know, like I said, everything was crazy then. But so you could say never, but never say never. So and that's what I'm saying here is, you can sit and say never, but I don't know if this is a never situation. It feels like this feels like this is a first step
Here's
back
the only,
to checking that out.
I think this would be the only roadblock, and that's the sponsors. I mean, there could be 3.5 million fans screaming, "Hey, we want the Redskins name back," but they're not paying the $500,000 every 6 months for sponsorship.
They're paying a lot more than that if you're an NFL team depending on where you're sponsoring. I get it.
That's what I mean. You know, the owner here, Josh Harris, is making a lot of money off of sponsors.
But again, it depends on which sponsor. It depends on which sponsor you're going to. By the way, I'm going to jump over here to. I want everybody to see what we're talking about here. Oh my God, they look so good. Oh my God, they're so pretty. When you're because there will be companies that will still sponsor you and maybe will want to sponsor you because the name is the Redskins. And I think there will be some companies that will pull sponsorships or not want to do business because of that. But that's free market, baby. So that's another thing too, and that's another very good point that you bring up is, will they still be able to hold on to sponsorships if they go back to the name and to the logo? Which again, and this has been my contention too. If you wanted to fight the name, which I never thought that was the case. You know, considering if you do a lot of the research, if you look at a lot of things about it, a majority of the Native American population did not have a negative connotation to the Washington Redskins. It seemed to be something that was very much more pushed by white people, which is weird. You know, white people thinking that they have to protect Native Americans from themselves. Like I don't understand that. But again, not getting political. We're not getting political.
I was gonna say,
but
popped in my head. I'm like, no.
But with having that, with like, even if you didn't want the name there, the logo was fine. I think the logo was good. It was designed by a Native American who, again, a Blackie Wetzel. So that's not another great. But again, this goes to my thing too: is, did you want to cancel a Native American because his name was Blackie? Like, again, that's not that would be an offensive name.
Yeah.
To certain segments of American society. But it was this guy's name. So should he have changed his name because you felt that it was that's what I don't understand. Like I could always throw that in there as well. But like, the logo was made by a Native American. He's the one, he asked to make it as an honor and a tribute to John Two Guns Whitecalf. Again, who was also the model for the Indian head nickel and other various things. So I mean, that's there. Like, you know, there's history behind the logo. There was tradition. There was honestly a large amount of respect and self-identification with that logo and the Washington Redskins. There were, you know, so. I think I think overall what we're looking at when it comes to Washington and the football team, no matter how they decide to name themselves, if they want to be the Commanders, if they want to go back to football team, if they go back to Redskins, whatever the case is, I think you're right in the case of there will be discussions with sponsors. I think that'll be the biggest thing. There will be discussions with the NFL. I think there will be discussions with government officials. I think they will be talking with obviously trademark and patent office people, because they had originally said that they couldn't trademark the name, but that might be changed depending on who's in the trademark office now, and administrations change and things like that. So that could be something that changes. I think there will be discussions with Native Americans, Native American tribes, Native American organizations, talking about that. I mean, so this is what I'm saying is, like, I think this is a tone of water moment. I think they're testing out to see, but I think we're still a very long way from having the name come back. But I think it's closer now and more in the realm of possibility than it was even last year.
Yeah.
And like you said, the Joe Gibbs R has come back. Other branding and logos idea. The players have, if you've seen some of the tweets and Instagrams from the players, they have shown how much they really like these uniforms. Like I said, they look like a proper football team now. The Commanders' uniform sucked.
Yeah.
And I get that you wanted to change it because, first of all, you could sell more merch, too. One, but two, you want to separate. You want to, if you don't want to just be a repaint, because everybody will just still call you the Redskins then, or everybody will still just wear the same stuff. If you're trying to obviously make the move, then you would change. You would want to change everything. I wish they would have done better with the uniforms, or like somebody else said, just start literally from scratch. Start as a new franchise, get new colors, start with a new name, and go from there. That could have been an idea as well. But by doing that, and again, that was still under Snyder, so it was kind of a half-ass situation. So they do all that. Now we have Harris in there, who said he's not going to change the name back, but boy, these uniforms are a big screaming neon light that says maybe, 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 maybe. And I think that's something you have to acknowledge. We have to acknowledge the fact that, because here's the thing. If they weren't thinking about it, they wouldn't be going back to it, especially this close to how long they just changed the name. They just did all that. Yeah. And if the name was that horrible, if everything associated with that name was that bad, they would not be bringing back uniforms that are those uniforms and saying because you would still want to have that separation. You would say we're not that team. But to that end, there's also up in Canada, there was the Edmonton Eskimos, who had the same thing. They changed their name. They became the Edmonton Elks, and they changed their uniform, and they put little elk antlers on the helmets, and they changed up the branding, same colors, but kind of like the Commanders did. They changed enough to where it wasn't what the Eskimos looked like outside of the colors. So again, they changed the jersey, they changed the helmet. There was all that kind of stuff, blah blah blah. Because that's a term. Well, just this year, the Edmonton Elks introduced new uniforms. It's the Edmonton Eskimos. It's the double E logo on the helmet. The same now striping pattern. The jerseys are the same. Everything is the exact same as it was with the Edmonton Eskimos. They got rid of the antlers. They got rid of all the other things that made them the Elks. They're still called the Elks, but the uniforms are the Edmonton Eskimos. So it seems like that was, again, you have it in Canada where it's a shift back and kind of like a self-correction of, hey, we kind of lost our minds too. Although Canada's still fucking insane, but that's a whole different other thing. But it seems like they had that. Now you have Washington doing this. It feels like it's going back into that direction. It really does. It feels like that there's more of a chance of the name coming back now than there's been in the last 5 years.
I think also to like add on to everything is the true test to Josh Harris's never bringing the name back will be after the first game that they wear them. I mean, pictures are nice and all that, but to see it in person or on TV, I think that the crowd and the fans will get a lot louder.
Right. It's going to be a Sunday night game, so it's a primetime game. You're going to be
have a lot of
wearing
eyes
those
on it.
uniforms. The crowd is probably going to all come in old Redskins gear, old jerseys, things they had. So the jerseys and the logo and the name is going to be prominent in the stadium. It is. It's going to be there. So, and now again, I don't know how they're going to paint the field, because the field that the Redskins had during this era of uniforms had, the Two Guns White Calf logo on the 50, and each of the red zones said Redskins.
Okay.
So I don't know if are you gonna write Commanders but in the Redskins font, or are you going to just put Washington? Are you gonna leave it as it is? Like, that would seem weird to do that, to go through all of this and then do that. Like, that's what I mean. And, I'd love to hear the crowd just out of nowhere just start, singing Hail to the Redskins properly instead of whatever the Hail to the Commanders thing they got now, which is whatever it is. But, I mean, and I'll say this as well, full transparency, me here on Stay Tuned Sports, for the last couple of years, I've been trying to skirt around the issue, and I've been calling them the Washington football team of Redskin Commanders because of all the different name changes and how they've been trying to do it. And this season, I decided to just say, fuck it. I'm calling them the Redskins. Maybe it's just because I'm an old man who I don't like change. Whatever it is. To me, they're the Redskins. They've always been the Redskins. They always will be the Redskins, and that is their proper name. And like I said, even with the graphics this year, I have gone with calling them the Redskins and not the Commanders. Because I'm sorry, Commanders doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like that's the team's name. And every time you hear it, it sounds like somebody trying to tell you that their new nickname is their name. Everybody calls me Souffle, but my real name is Eric. It's like, I'm not calling you Souffle. Your name is Eric. I'm sorry. That's just what it feels like. So instead of trying to force it, and where I'm like catching myself every time and just like Washington Commanders and blah, blah. No, they're the Washington Redskins. And so that's to let you know where at least my standing on the whole situation is. I grew up with them being the Redskins. They are the Redskins, and I mean, this certainly feels like a step that is going to bring them closer to being the Redskins once again.
Yeah.
Again, I think there are many hurdles to go before they get there. Like you said, I think the sponsors are a big one. I think to do it properly, I think you have to go ahead and talk to and get agreements and understandings with Native American tribes and organizations and people, and just have that connection there. Talk to them, and also from there, listen. Do a lot of what I should have been going on to begin with, which was you could be doing a lot of awareness for American Indian issues. You could start doing a lot of charitable things for them. You can have, look what everybody, there's always like a special kind of night or game or something with hockey and baseball and stuff like that. Have different Native American tribes have each like home game be for one of them. Have the recognition of that, bring that to the fore, and bring that kind of acknowledgement and understanding of the Native American culture and different tribes and different peoples and things of that nature. I think that's the best way to move on and go about it, and to bring the name back and to have it mean something to, obviously, not just the fans who love the name and love the team and love the branding and love the identity, but to the people the branding is about and of, if that's what you want to do. Again, there are other teams that have people and idea and cultures that are their name. People bring up the Minnesota Vikings or, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have your Buccaneers down in Florida, the Spanishes, and things of that nature. I get it, and I understand there's not the same history or things like that with those people. And again, every culture and every people, are different, and nobody's the same. I get all that. I understand that. It's not the argument here. But I think for at least that, if this is that step, if this is that first step that you're looking to do that, I think that's a mandatory step that you have to do. I think you have to 100% consult with and talk with Native American organizations, Native American tribes, Native Americans one-on-one, have town halls, talk to people, see the things that you could do, what they would want you to do, all those things, and see how you can make this work for them to have this be a positive, to where the people who are against it, the people who are vehemently against it, like I said, mostly white people, will, even if they don't like the fact that the name's back, you're going to find a hard time trying to argue against it because of the good things that are happening and because of the opinion of the people who matter in this case, which are the Native Americans.
Yeah.
So I think that is a 1,000% the step that has to go. But like I said, I still think we're a ways off from that.
Yeah.
But I think this is a step in that direction. I really do. I'm very interested in how that, because that's it. Josh Harris said that he made it clear on multiple occasions that he wanted to embrace the franchise's past, and it seems like they just did that this Wednesday with the uniform reveal. The Commanders will turn into glory days when they wear the alternate look, resulting. Yeah, so it's just.
I'll say this: if the Sunday night game takes off as well and good that I think it is, I say within 2-3 years you'll see the Redskins name back.
That's optimistic, I think.
Why?
That's optimistic.
I mean, they just changed their name now. What, 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, and again, it's because I think we collectively as a nation lost our fucking mind in 2020.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. So I think the suddenness of that isn't going to happen again. Yeah. And to get back to that point and get back to the Redskins, if that's what's indeed going to happen, it's going to take a little bit longer. I would say 5 years is probably on the lower end, or the quicker end, on how fast that could be. But I think this is how they react to it. It depends on the reaction to these uniforms.
Yes.
And again, from reading underneath the social media, I mean, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. You can go and look for yourselves and tell me what you see. But I see a lot of massively positive thoughts on these uniforms, and also okay, but where's the name? Okay, but where's the logo? So I think you're going to get a positive reaction to this. And then it's just a case of what will be the next step. Yeah. Will it be uniforms with the logo that they just don't change the name, but it will be the logo comes back? Will it be something like that? Will it be something that looks like the logo but isn't quite? Will it be an alternate uniform that'll be like, again, one of the uniforms I like was the spear helmet logo. Yeah. With the darker burgundy and the gold numbers and stuff like that. Like, If they do something like that, will that like I think we'll see what the next step is. But for this step now, this is promising. We'll see how it goes from there. That's not the only logo news, by the way, or uniform news that we had today. The Saints released their alternate helmet design, which, by the way, we got a bunch of stuff coming out too. Pittsburgh announced that they've got their alternates coming out, I want to say in about a week or so. The Chargers are coming out, I think, on the 15th. They're releasing their alternates. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot coming up here. But the Saints also, they're one of the ones who came out today and released their new alternate helmet. And I got to say, it doesn't look bad. Let's jump back over here. Oh, there's the Redskins still up there. Let's go. Whoop, let's get them out of there. And let's take a look at this new Saints helmet. Bang! I got to say, I like it. As an alternate helmet goes for like the 2 or 3 games that they'll wear it, I like it. It's a white helmet with the Saints logo on it. The Saints logo, instead of being black, is gold. Same kind of outlines and everything like that. Has a center golden stripe with 2 very thin white stripes outside of that, and then 2 more black stripes outside of that. And the center stripe has a very sublimated fleur-de-lis pattern in the gold. Looks very nice. I got to say, the face mask is kind of a metallic, almost like a brass gold kind of look to it. Might invoke thoughts of a brass Mardi Gras band going down the street as people are throwing beads and titties just flying around in the balconies. But I like it, especially if it seems like it does seem. It'll be paired with their kind of throwback Color Rush uniform, which was the white with the gold numbers on it, which look really cool. The old 60s striping pattern on the sleeves, white pants with the gold and black stripe down the pant leg. If these get paired with that, not to sound like a brain dead Gen Zer, but are those going to look clean? Those are going to look so clean. Very nice. I'm very excited to see those. But yeah, I like it. I like it as far as, like I said, as an alternate one, it looks good. Some people think this might be a step in a direction. Maybe they will change their primaries to be like this, so it'll be a gold. Everything will just be reversed. It'll be the gold helmet, but it'll kind of be like that, where it's a center white stripe with thin gold and then black outside of that, and whatever for next year. But we'll see. Right now, this is what they have, and your thoughts on this Saints new lid?
At first, I thought it was like one of these articles that you see. Hey, an alternate universe. This is how the Saints would look. But when I saw it was actually a legit thing, I was like, that actually looks pretty cool. It looks really nice. I like the white, like you said. If they match it with the white uniforms, it's gonna look nice.
I think it looks nice. I think it looks nice.
I like the gold face mask.
I like that brass gold. I really do. Yeah. I think it's a sharp look.
But and again, like this compared to the Redskins one, I think this one looks, even though it's just the helmet, I think this looks better than the Redskins. Stop it. No, you're wrong. I was more oozing over this one than the Redskins.
Stop it. No, you're no. Is this better than the Saints alternate helmet from the last couple of years? That black one with the weird Seahawks triangle, where instead of having the feathered pattern, they put the fleur. That was a piece of shit. That was disgusting. ELS in the chat, how you doing, brother? Great to see you. That was horrible. So this, compared to that, massive upgrade. Yeah. Massive upgrade. And if this is what you can have as an alternate helmet, I think this is great. This is what the alternate helmet should look like. This shouldn't be something so crazy, especially where the Saints really don't have a throwback. Their logo and helmets have generally been the same. They updated the logo about 20, 25 years ago. They made it a little bit tighter, gave it an extra outline or two, so it looks a little bit more modern and stuff like that. But they really haven't changed their logo or their helmet too much. So there's not really a throwback helmet to go to when it comes to the Saints. So this is nice. When it comes to uniforms, the Saints got problems. You know, they don't know what they love that unitard look, which I can't stand. They love wearing the black pants with no stripes and the white pants with no stripes and all monochromes, whether it's black or white or nothing. Especially, and the thing is, like, when you have the gold pants, wear the fucking gold pants. Will you please, Saints, wear the gold pants. Stop it. Stop this uniform shit that you're doing. They really are one of the most uniform stupid teams in the league, because they have some very good combinations they could wear, and they always wear the not good combinations. So Hamster says, I hate the Saints, but that helmet looks good. I agree 100%. ELS, on the other hand, says the helmet looks meh. He says that he doesn't like that. The Redskins one, however, much again, like I said, the Redskins one is it looks like football. And maybe that's the thing. Me growing up as a Giants fan, growing up watching the Giants and Redskins play each other in those uniforms, like that's it. It tickles my brain the right way, and it's just like, yes, like that's football. That's what football is supposed to look like. You know, I'm very upset that they won't be wearing that uniform against the Giants. Although maybe, again, we've seen it before. Some teams they'll sneak it in maybe for a road game. Like I said, so the Redskins play the Giants when they play them at their home game. You know, maybe the Giants will wear their 80s throwback. The Redskins can wear that on the road. Because, again, the 3 games they mentioned they would wear it are home games.
Yeah.
You know, because that's, you know, you control what you wear at home. But I says maybe on the road, maybe it's like, you could wear those. We're going to wear the Giants ones, the 80s ones. You can wear those. We'll have that would be cool. I would enjoy that. That would be a great matchup.
I feel like I'd be playing or watching Tecmo Super Bowl.
Something, you know what I mean? Like I would almost cry. I would almost have a tear in my eye. Outside of the Two Guns logo not being on a helmet, that would be a beautiful matchup. The blue and red, the burgundy and gold. Oh, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, and listen, maybe if they go up to Philadelphia wears the Kelly Greens. They wear those. You're gonna tell me that's not a beautiful uniform matchup? Oh my God! I need it. I'm sorry. I'm having a logo nerd moment, and it's just I want this so badly. Yeah. And like I said, I think as far, not to go back on the subject, I think though we're looking maybe forward a little bit too much. Like we got a little nibble, and all of a sudden we have a whole great big amount of hope. It's like, oh, this can happen. This is what's going to happen. I want to pause that, you know.
Before we move on, let me ask you this then: what's more likely to happen first? Washington going back to the Redskins name and logo, or the Giants winning a Super Bowl with Joe Shane as a GM?
That's a good question. I would like to say the Giants winning the Super Bowl. I would love to say that. If we're being honest, though, you know, here's the thing. If you would have asked me that question 6 months ago, I would have said Giants probably winning the Super Bowl. Now, today, after seeing this uniform and kind of seeing everything like that, I kind of feel like we'll see Redskins again before we see the Giants in the Super Bowl. I really do. Like, it seems like the ball has started rolling. Like I said, I honestly feel like this is a not quite a referendum, but this is definitely a non-scientific poll. Let's put this out there.
Yeah.
Let's see what people think. Let's see what the reaction is. And the reaction has been wholly positive. Even from the people who don't like the name associated with uniforms, the Redskins.
Yeah.
They're like, these are beautiful uniforms. And they should have never changed from these. Just got rid of the logo and name. So even the people who didn't like Redskins like this uniform. And obviously the other people Love the uniform, and their only drawback with it is that it's got the W on it and not two guns. So, that's what I'm feeling. ELS in the chat, he says, the Saints helmet doesn't work for me. When I think of the Saints helmet color, I think of black, not white. If you want to make it better, it needs some more black. Well, they had the black helmet for the last couple of years, and that helmet fucking sucked. So now, if they would have just done like this helmet but in black, maybe I'd be more inclined to be like, yeah, I think that would work. But for now, I think the white works as an alternate better than at least the black one did last year. ELS also says in chat, he thinks, I think we will see the Redskins name back before the Giants win the Super Bowl. Thank you so much for your confidence there, ELS.
I was going to make a tush-push joke, but I'll pace myself.
What tush-push joke are you going to make about the Redskins and Giants in the Super Bowl?
The Packers fans will probably want to get...
well, stop. Will you leave the kid alone, for the love of God? It's not like he's the one who came up with the rule change, you know?
The fans are the owners, so, you know.
Touche. I was trying to argue on ELS's behalf, but that's a pretty good argument. That's a pretty good argument, Jimbo. You're what are you, a lawyer? You a lawyer here? You're good, you.
I watched my cousin Vinny before the show.
The two Utes, Jimbo. If I bring it again, I will kick your ass. ELS getting spicy, getting real spicy in there. Just a couple other things to talk about again, because there's really not much going on here. But this story still isn't going away. The NFL and NFLPA collusion scandal going on. The NFL and senior leaders of the NFL Players Association struck an unusual confidentiality agreement that hid the details of an arbitration decision from players, including a finding that the league executives had urged team owners to reduce guaranteed player compensation, says ESPN through multiple sources. This is again from ESPN. On January 14th, arbitrator Christopher Droney ruled that there wasn't sufficient evidence of collusion by owners in contract negotiations with quarterbacks after the record fully guaranteed contract signed by quarterback and noted groper Deshaun Watson in 2022. Any such collusion to keep salaries down would have violated the collective bargaining agreement between the NFL and the union. But Droney concluded that the NFLPA showed by a clear preponderance of the evidence that Commissioner Roger Goodell and the league's general counsel had urged owners to restrict guaranteed money in player contracts. Again, this is another thing where people are like, oh, well, was there collusion? Like, everybody's saying, oh, there's collusion. So the arbitrator came out and said there wasn't collusion. But it does seem like that, you know, that there was a talking to from the owners, a general understanding to limit guaranteed money in contracts. But to me, this feels like, is it collusion or is it common sense? Like, because we all saw what happened with Deshaun Watson. We saw how that contract worked out. Because that was the thing. I remember when he signed it and everybody's like, oh, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. Now everybody's going to be asking for fully guaranteed. Everybody's going to look for big contracts, fully guaranteed. Everybody's going to be doing that. And that ended up not happening. And when you look at what happened with Deshaun Watson in that situation, to me, it feels like this is not so much collusion as just the other owners being like, what the fuck are you doing?
See,
and going back to like, no, we're not. Just because Cleveland gave a fully contract, because they're fucking stupid, doesn't mean we are. We're not giving anybody a fully guaranteed contract, especially for that amount.
But the owners talking to each other about, you know, supposedly talking to each other about not guaranteed was before Deshaun got that contract. So,
but here's the thing: the arbitrator says that they didn't. The arbitrator says that there is no evidence that they colluded.
But didn't the arbitrator say they had to hit three things and they hit 2 out of the 3 though?
He said what he said was that Roger Goodell and the league's counsel, Jeff Pash, had urged owners to restrict guaranteed money in player contracts. So what he's saying is not that the owners colluded, but that there seemed to be a mandate from the top. Oh, my balding head is going crazy here. That there seemed to be a mandate from the top, from Goodell, to limit the guaranteed contracts, to not do that. So it's not that the owners were talking to each other. It's that Goodell was like, can we not be as retarded as Jeff Haslam is in Cleveland, please? And the rest of the owners were like, well, we weren't going to be anyway, but okay.
Yeah. Now, but here's the thing, though. What would have happened? I mean, hypothetically, let's say Deshaun Watson was a, perfect citizen and went on to having great seasons with Cleveland. There'd be more guaranteed contracts then.
Would there?
I think so.
No.
Because
I don't care. I don't care who you are. You're talking about, you had a chance for like people like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady never had a guaranteed contract, a fully guaranteed contract. Aaron Rodgers has never had a fully guaranteed contract. I don't care how well you played. I don't care how well your morality is or anything like that. Nobody was getting a fully guaranteed contract, which is why when the Browns did it, everybody was like, first of all, this is stupid. Second of all, oh, is this going to change the NFL market? The answer was no, because none of the other owners were ever going to do this. And this is what I mean. So this feels like the mandate came from Goodell, but Goodell never really had to say this because it wasn't necessary. Because the rest of the owners would say, boy, that was a pretty dumb fucking thing to do, wasn't it?
But does that show how much Goodell trusts the owners? Because he works for the owners.
Yeah, but
so
if you look at
tell your bosses,
but if you look at who was owning teams, you had Jeff Haslam, who did this to begin with, stupidly. Then you have Dan Snyder was still an owner at this time, so who knows what the fuck he was gonna fucking do? Jerry Jones is a bit of a wild card, And again, there are bad owners out there. Look at Tepper down in fucking Carolina. This comes across as something that dumbass would fucking do, But I don't, So from that standpoint, I think Jeff Haslam set the example of what not to do.
Yeah.
To the point where you didn't need to do that. But anyway, the confidentiality agreement had kept details of the ruling a secret until 2 weeks ago when Pablo Torre published the document and created a stir among union members. Some players told ESPN that they were surprised by details in the ruling and that they didn't understand why the union hadn't shared the ruling with them. On Tuesday night, nearly 6 months after Droney's decision, the NFLPA, led by Executive Director Lloyd Howell Jr., decided to seek an appeal of the ruling. The appeal is a reflection of our obligation to enforce the CBA and our commitment to protecting our players and interests. We'll do what's best for the players, and we'll exhaust our options in doing so. Really? 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 Because here's the thing. Whether you agree with, players getting guaranteed contracts or anything like that, like, from just the aspect of the players' union supposed to be advocating for the players, boy, this does not look good for the NFLPA. Like, if you're a union, you're a pretty bad union. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not great. Not great. The arbitration case centered on discussions among league executives and owners after the Browns signed Watson to a record $230 million fully guaranteed 5-year contract on March 18th, 2022, and whether the talks affected negotiations with quarterbacks Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and Russell Wilson. None of those three who were currently up for deals signed guaranteed contracts. Droney included text exchanges and emails among league executives and owners in his ruling saying that a concerted action was contemplated and invited at the March 2022 owners meeting. The union declined to answer questions Wednesday about why the decision to appeal took nearly 6 months, or about the grounds for its appeal, which under the CBA will be heard by a panel of 3 arbitrators. A league spokesman also declined to comment on Wednesday. Wow, like that's the only reason that the NFLPA is appealing now is because this came out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this would still be under. So that's what I mean is whether you, and again, I'm more on the side of common sense. I think getting fully guaranteed contracts is not great. Not great. for the NFL, not great for fans, not great for people. Otherwise, you're going to end up being like the NBA, and whose contracts are absurd for players who are garbage. Like, there are garbage players in the NBA making like fucking $230 million contracts, $250 million max contracts over 2-3. Like, how is somebody who's like a fucking basement player making almost nearly $100 million? Get the fuck out of here! Like, no. So that's what I mean. Is like so part of me is glad that common sense prevailed, but and why I don't think fully guaranteed contracts will ever be in NFL. That will be something that the owners will fight and will not ever do. Outside of the one idiotic fucking Jeff Haslam, because he's like, we gotta have Deshaun Watson. This Baker Mayfield guy, he's not gonna work out. So we're gonna break the bank for Deshaun Watson. You know, I think that that was the proof that everybody did. Is like, boy, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Because then you lock yourself in, you fuck yourself, you're in a corner, and you lock yourself into a situation that you can't get out of. In a situation where you already knew what you were getting into. Because the accusations and everything were already there. The Texans were looking to get rid of him because he was already there. And you signed him to this contract. And again, he didn't play for you for the first year and a half.
Yeah.
Because he was fucking suspended. Again, Cleveland should never be the basis for anything new or innovative happening in the league. I'm just going to say that. Let's just be honest with each other. So I'll say that. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see. I have a feeling the appeal's probably going to get thrown out pretty immediately. It's been 6 months. It's been too long. Like I don't see that working out. But we'll see what happens from there. Again, like I said, I don't think we'll see fully guaranteed contracts anytime in the future. Do you?
No, just again because of how the whole Deshaun thing played out. I think if it went the other way, I'd say possibly. But with how it went, no.
ELS in the chat letting us know here that Mark Wahlberg looking to go ahead and become a part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a quote here from via Fanatics Complex. Thank you so much, your ELS, for this. It's crazy. People are going to give me a lot of shit for this, but I live in Vegas. Tom Brady has a piece of the Raiders, and a lot of my friends have a piece. Could easily find me there. Again, because Mark Wahlberg from the Boston area, obviously would be a Patriots fan, so that's why he said he'd probably get a lot of shit for that. But
he's not a Patriots fan. He's an Eagles fan. I'm 99% sure.
Mark Wahlberg?
That's why I always found it funny, because he's from Boston.
Let's see if we can. Mark Wahlberg is a well-known sports fan, particularly of Boston teams like the New England Patriots and the Boston Celtics.
That traitor.
While he is a passionate Patriots fan, he also has a soft spot for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Even appearing as a fan on, you know why? Because of that dumb fucking movie he did.
No, that really good movie.
That really dumb fucking movie about that
really,
stupid
really
piece
cool
of shit who was a bad receiver, some fucking bar skank drunk ended up.
He was a bar to see.
That's how bad the Eagles were. They had people walking on to the team from the bar, drunk as shit, being like, "Hey, better than what we got. Let's put him out there. Let's see how he works with Jaworski." So. I have never watched that movie, by the way.
Really?
That or what's the rom-com one? Silver Linings Playbook.
Silver Linings.
I haven't watched that one either. I refuse to watch it simply because it's based around the Eagles. I will not watch it. I have not watched it.
90% of it is not Philadelphia Eagles. It's just basically.
I don't care. They're there. They're a part of the story. Nothing to do with it.
There's a Philadelphia Eagle in the Godzilla movies, right?
What's that?
There was a Philadelphia Eagles fan in the Godzilla movies.
Which one? Where?
All of them.
Oh.
Even the 1960s ones, there was Philadelphia Eagle fans back in those movies. So I guess you can't watch those movies no more.
First of all, no, there wasn't. Second of all, stop. Stop it. I know what you're trying to do. Stop. The Eagles movie. So everyone just likes the fact that I just call it the stupid Eagles movie. A dumb Eagles movie. This is stupid. Dumb as
He's
shit.
a bar whore. He was a bartender.
He was a fucking drunk bar asshole in Philadelphia.
Wait, are we still talking about the movie or me?
Little column A, little column B.
Oh, wow.
What else? There was a couple other things we were looking at here. I saw that Fox went ahead and signed Erin Andrews and Charissa Thompson to new lucrative deals. Signed them because their deals, I think, were up after this year, but they've signed them to deals. A lot of people very kind of iffy with the Charissa Thompson thing because she came out last year and said she just kind of made up coaches' quotes for halftime. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where she just kind of made up shit, and it was like, I was like, listen, of all the things that Charissa Thompson's done, that's probably not the worst one for her reputation, but you know, there was another thing, which I don't know. That was actually maybe that was good for her reputation. I don't know. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google's free. Anyway,
Leave it at that.
or just leave it at that. But yeah, that was that. I mean, that's a legitimate thing. Like, just say the coach didn't speak with you. Just say, coach. You know, she said just, oh, they wouldn't give me anything, so I made up shit. No, if your job is to be a reporter, a sideline reporter, either get the quote or say, coach refused to make a comment. That's all. That's all you have to say. Yeah. That's all you have to do. If the coach doesn't want to say anything to you, that in itself is a story that tells you, oh, well, maybe the coach is pissed. Maybe they're not playing well. Maybe this, that, or the other. But to sit there and just make up shit and then so flippantly talk about how you make up shit, it's not a great look.
Yeah.
At least as far as I think. I don't think that's a great look. Let's see, what else is going on here? Eli passes on owning a stake in the New York Giants. Says it's just too expensive for me to do that.
Wow.
So that's a shame. But he's still part. I mean, he's always around. He's still part of the team.
Yeah.
Dak says that he will be fully ready to go at the start of training camp, so that's good. For everybody who plays the Cowboys, that's a good thing. Maybe we get a couple picks there. We'll see. In the latest episode of Quarterback on Netflix, Kirk Cousins says that he felt misled after the Falcons drafted Michael Penix Jr. For the first time publicly, the veteran opened up about his feelings about the Falcons taking Michael Penix Jr. with the number 8 pick in the Quarterback show, which premiered on Tuesday. Cousins said he felt a little bit misled when the Falcons took Penix that high. The Falcons had signed Cousins to a contract with at least $100 million guaranteed just a few weeks earlier, tabbing him as their quarterback for 2024 and beyond. Atlanta then stunned the NFL and Kirk Cousins by drafting Penix because the franchise believed him as the future franchise quarterback. Cousins said he was aware the Falcons might draft a quarterback, but definitely not that high. He wasn't informed about the Penix pick. Sorry, just fun saying that. Until the phone call by offensive coordinator Zach Robinson while Atlanta was on the clock. Certainly, if I had the information around free agency, it certainly would have affected my decision, Kurt said in the first episode. Sorry, Kirk said in the first episode, I had no reason to leave Minnesota with how much we loved it there if both teams were going to be drafting quarterback high. But I've also learned in 12 years in this league that you're not entitled to anything. It's all about being able to earn your spot and prove yourself. So that's the thing, you know. I don't know if he would have left Minnesota. I think he probably would have taken the hometown discount in Minnesota, even knowing that they were going to pick J.J. McCarthy, because if Atlanta's going to fucking take J.J. McCarthy, going to take Michael Penix, either they're getting a young quarterback there ready to go. Like he said, he already had roots in Minnesota. He liked Minnesota. His family liked Minnesota. A lot closer to Coles in Minnesota. You know, use that Coles cash.
There was another clip in that episode too that Kirk went back to Minnesota and basically said, we have an offer to go somewhere else because it's a better situation long term. can you match it, or can you give me some
Right.
type of, and Minnesota said, no, we're going with the quarterback. And that's what we said, okay, bye.
Right.
So, like you said, if Atlanta would have said, yeah, we're going to take a
If
quarterback.
Atlanta said, Atlanta, like he said, Atlanta went to him and said, yeah, you're our guy for the future. Don't worry about it. And then got a quarterback of the future to the point now where he's $100 million backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Where, he might have been in Minnesota. But then again, if he's in Minnesota, where, then that's interesting. Where would have Sam Darnold gone? Where would then you talk about dominoes falling. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
What kind of alternate universe is there where Kirk Cousins stayed in Minnesota, and then how did that all play out? That could have changed everything last year. Maybe the Eagles don't win a Super Bowl. A butterfly flaps their wings in China, and there's a hurricane in Cuba. It's all one of those things. Yes, we did see the NHL in a new collective bargaining agreement. They have ELS starting with the 2026-27 season. There will be 84 games, no game day dress codes for the players, so they can wear whatever they want, look like NBA players, I guess. I don't know. The thing that saddens me the most is the full-time emergency backup goalie. Because now we're not going to get those cool stories of like the beer league guys that are in the stands on call, and they need a goaltender, and he goes in there, and like the guy who did for Toronto a couple years ago and got the win. He made a couple of great saves, and it's like, oh my god, like that's cool shit, Those are cool little stories that you got every now and then with hockey, and it's still one of those things that made it very unique. And now you don't have that, and that's that sucks. That sucks. And they've also closed a lot of the playoff salary cap loopholes that teams were doing, and things like that. They've capped the length on contract years, so you can't front load a contract or have like a lot of dispersal money, and that's a way to kind of circumvent the cap. So they did a lot there. I get it. It's things that needed to be done. I'm glad that they have something now. We're not going to have a lockout. We're not going to have anything like that again. So we were able to go ahead and do that. I don't like the 84 games. I don't. If anything, I think you should reduce them, but that's not going to happen. The owners are not giving up money, hamster. They're not going to do that. So that is certainly going to be the case. Listen, ELS, it's coming. It's coming to regular baseball too soon. Robot umps are going to be used for the All-Star game this year in Atlanta. Hate to tell everybody, if you're a baseball purist, guess what? Robot umps are coming. Now I know next year they're going to do the review system, where each team is going to have 2 challenges a game, which that's going to become a mess soon. So I think we are closer to robot umps than I think. I give it 2 years. You'll have next year and the year after with the review system, and then I think after that it's robot umps. I think it's all robot umps, and rightfully so, because major league umpires are the worst officials in any sport, and that's fucking saying something, because the NBA exists. All right? Hockey refs ain't that great. I think football refs might be the best officials out there. As much as people hate them and say that they're always for the Chiefs. And everybody wants to say, but I think everybody just says that. But football refs might be the best officials out there. Again, take that as you will. But I think baseball umpires, by far, are the worst game officials of any of the 4 major league American sports. And I don't think it's particularly close.
No, I agree with that.
Hamster says, let's not discuss Atlanta and baseball in the same. Is Atlanta bad? I have no idea. I know they won a World Series a couple of years ago, and now I guess they suck.
I think the Orioles got relegated to AAA, so I stopped watching.
Oh, the Orioles are bad? That sucks. I thought they were good. They were good last year.
Yeah, don't know what happened. Like 2 weeks in, they fired a manager.
The Hamster says NFL ref sucks, and I'm sure you think they do. But if we're doing a compare and contrast to the rest of the leagues, who's better? What league? If you look at NFL, baseball, hockey, and basketball, what leagues are better when it comes to a game official than NFL refs? I'll ask that question. Let's see what the chat has to say. ELS, he says, I agree with you, King. Major League umpires are indeed trash. And indeed they are. They are, like I said. And not only are they trash, they're arrogant trash.
Yes.
Because the moment somebody looks at them side-eye, is like, are you fucking serious? That ball hit the dirt and you called a strike? What are you doing? And you're gone, buddy. You can't argue balls and strikes. You're out of here.
I remember last season with the Phillies catcher, foul ball or something like that, and he didn't look at the ump. He just went like this to have the ump put the ball in his hand, and the ump's taking his good old time. So as the ump was putting the ball in his hand, he just took it away, figuring the ump wasn't there.
Yeah. Look what happened with Aaron Boone last year, where a fan behind him called the name to the umpire, and he throws Boone.
Yeah.
What the again? And it's not like, oh yeah, no, I was bad. Sorry, that was my fuck up. No, it's like, I know I was wrong, but can't go back on it now. Fuck you. Wow, are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. That's just my thought. So, all right, before we say anymore, I think we're just about done, and we are scraping the barrel here, trying to find something to talk about. As it is, taking a quick look at our poll here, with well, there's several votes. I'll just say that, but by a margin of 60% to 40%, people say, is the Redskins name destined to come back? 60% say yes. That the Redskins name will indeed come back. 40% say no. The name is dead. It is long gone, and that ship has sailed. So, interesting poll there. Considering who our viewers are, surprising, I think, a little bit. I thought it might have been a little bit higher, but there you go. So, it's it's still a what is that? 60% is what? That's a 2 to 1. Nah, that's not quite.
Three votes yes, 2 votes no.
I wasn't trying. I was trying to not say that there were only 5 votes, Jimbo. I was trying to think about a percentage. Like not percentage, but like a 3 to 1. A fraction. That's what I was looking for.
I didn't catch on to what you were trying.
Yeah, no, you never do. You never do. So there you go. In case everybody wants to know, only 5 people voted in the poll, so we look really shitty right now. Thank you, Jimbo, for exposing how few people pay attention to us here on Stay Tuned Sports. Fantasy, again, that's another great thing. I am going to start posting that the link to the general public for the fantasy league, so that we can get some people in there. Again, I think I have 12 spots there, so it's me, Jimbo, right now, and I believe Hamster and ELS are in there as well. So we're going to put the link out there to see if anybody else wants to join up. I'll probably put that in a couple of Discords as well to see if anybody wants to join. Also, I will be doing the Picks League as well. So you guys can go ahead and pick against me and Jimbo all through the year to see who's better. That person with the fucking leaf blower doesn't shut the fuck up. Gonna lose my mind. That thing's more annoying than your fucking air conditioner was. Jesus Christ. So I will get those out there. Hamster, I know you can see it because you're in a chat, but the people watching, maybe the people watching later on doing this, they wouldn't have known. I'm trying to be bigger than we are, man, all right? I'm trying to shine this fucking turd. Oh, God. We got to work on a lot of things. We got to work on Jimbo's framing because half of his head has been gone this whole fucking episode. And
that's mostly my fault because I'm fidgety.
That's all right. That's all right. But we gotta fix a good camera angle on you. We gotta fix the light because that kind of washes you out there. Like there's a lot that we have to. There's a lot we have to do.
Be better.
On my end, on your end, on technology's end. I want to see if there's a way that we can also broadcast either on Instagram or Facebook Live or something. We're on TikTok again. We got those coming out now every little bit here. So keep an eye on there. Find us on TikTok again at ST Sports Podcast, same as all the other places where we are. So Hamster says we'll get more viewers the closer we get. We'll see. Like I said, we're fairly new at this. When it comes to YouTube, I know it takes years and years and years. And again, we're not exactly, algorithm guys. Like we're not, we're doing what we can. with what we have, with what we can. Like we're not a gaming channel. We're not anything like that. We're trying to come up with content. Jimbo has the Cooking with Jim Bob segments. He's also going to do another video game play along coming up here soon. I'm still trying to think of other stuff to do. If I can just get my imposter syndrome to stop and fucking actually sit down and do it, I can do that. But I also it's weird now because I have to share a space with my wife who works from home, so I can't really do I can't record any videos or do anything while she's at work because she's got to be on a phone talking with people. So that's a whole thing. So again, there's a lot of things and obstacles that we have to overcome here. And thank you for sticking with us while we do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you guys are the OGs. When one day we're not ever going to be big, but we recognize the fact that you guys have been here with us from the start, from the beginning. ELS, Hamster, Crafty. He still comes in every now and then. Pecan, he's still got his name on the fucking ticker here because he's given to us more so than anybody. Like you guys are big. You guys mean something to us, and you guys are special. So that's something like, you know, if someday we actually do get to 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 subscribers, whatever it is. Like, that's not something like we're all of a sudden going to forget Hamster or ELS or anybody. Like, you guys are the OGs. Yeah. You guys are going to run shit in the chat for us if it ever gets too much for us to handle. Like, I already have ELS as a moderator. I would hesitate making Hamster a moderator. I'm going to be honest. I have a lot of hesitation about putting him in charge of anything. I would have serious pause about. Hamster says, Jimbo, you got to play NCAA 26. Maybe he will. Maybe that'll be what's coming up. Maybe. Ooh, stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's in the name. Jimbo, any final thoughts before we get the fuck out of here?
No. I was gonna end with a WNBA thing, but screw Angel Reese.
Oh yeah, they gave her the cover for the WNBA edition of NBA 26.
Yeah, get out of here.
Well, the only thing I could say is I guess it'll make a good brick. Anyway, we want to thank you all so much here for joining us on Stage 2 Sports. If you want to help us out at all, you can do so for free 3 ways: like, share, subscribe. Hitting those 3 buttons help us out. Hit that notification bell and make sure it stays that way, because like I said, Hamster already told us a couple weeks ago that he didn't get the notification that we were on. So YouTube has a funny way of doing shit like that. So just make sure you do that. Hit like, share, subscribe. Helps us out tremendously. And if you want to help us out in a little bit more tangible cash money fashion, we have a link for our donation station and our merch store in the description below this video. Until, you're doing something later on this week. And until next week, we have the countdown. Our number 8 pick will be coming up on Tuesday. So until then, my name is... What's that?
Friday. We're doing the...
oh my God, I totally forgot about the Friday forecast, the first one. Holy shit.
I got you back, buddy.
Look at that. See, look at that. It's the old age. I'm going to blame the old age. I'm just stupid. I'm just a dummy. That's all it is. There's nothing special. There's no medical condition. It's just called being a moron. Until Friday in the Friday forecast, my name is King. That is your good friend Jimbo. We will see you then. Adios, everybody.